central station of the will. The skyline of your mind will determine the skyline of your future. Welcome to Mind Map Life Stories. We've taken 6 people with potentially life-controlling issues and found that through both the power of the Holy Spirit and through a change in the thinking process, they've been able to turn their lives around and change their worlds forever. Welcome to the mind map of the Christian's mind. At the very centre of the mind is the grand central station of the will, where decisions are made over every thought that enters into it. These thoughts either board trains of temptation that lead to the fallen region of the mind, or trains of faith that lead to the new region of the mind. The more trains of thought that arrive in the fallen mind, the stronger it gets. The more trains of thought that arrive in the new mind, the stronger it gets. In this episode, I talked to Kat about her walk on the wild side throughout her teenage years and how her faith in God and by launching new trains of thought within her mind, she was able to go on and experience the best years of her life. Kat, how old are you?
I'm 21.
21. Okay, so back through your history, you have got a history of some kind of sexual abuse.
Yeah.
Tell me a bit about it.
So it was through like a family friend, and it started when I was about 7 years old.
Mm-hmm. How long did it go for?
Altogether it was about 3 or 4 years.
So around 7 to 10 or 11.
Yeah.
So that sounds pretty serious. But at the time, were you aware of how serious it was at the time, or not really?
No, at the time I just thought that because it was like our secret, it had to be a secret, and I didn't really think much of it really. It was just something that was going on, and I don't know really. It just wasn't a thought of mine.
Yeah. So how do you think coming, I guess that's pre-teenage years. How did that affect your teenage years?
Well, it meant that when I started secondary school, like everyone starts talking in, playground talk and stuff, and like boys and girls just start becoming more aware of each other. But I already knew like so much stuff about that whole like sexuality and things. So I was already really aware of all those things, and it just kind of affected my relationship with guys and like with boys at my school and stuff, and yeah.
So it made you promiscuous?
Yeah, and I kind of had a mentality that I just would let anything happen with a guy because I was just wanted a guy to accept me, and that was the only way that I knew best. Because for like 3 or 4 years, I'd been purely to please another guy. That had been my role, and that's how I saw myself. So it just continued through into other relationships.
But why do you think you had such a drive within your thinking process to have to please? Where does that come from?
To be honest, I don't really know. Like, it was just something that I just felt I had to do. Like, I'd never had exception from, like, I didn't have a father figure or anything like that, or a guy around the house.
Was your father at home?
No, he lived in America. He lived in America my whole life.
Yes.
So I just had never been accepted by a guy before. And then when all the sexual abuse happened, it was like that was a way that I could be accepted by a guy.
Yes.
So I thought, I'll just keep doing that, and I can keep maintaining some sort of relationship with guys or men. Or
Yes. So, so sexual abuse and then sexual promiscuity. So how did that mess with your, not just spirit, but how did that mess with your head?
It just, to be honest, I think I was like blank to it all almost.
Okay.
That whole, like, those years of my life almost seemed like a blank page. I was just numb through it, and I didn't care. I just didn't care. So girls at school would call me names and things, and I had a reputation as just, she lets anything like goes with her. And I didn't care because I was just like, and it was just numb to all of that. It didn't bother me because I was being accepted.
Romans chapter 8 verse number 5 says that those who live according to the sinful nature have their mind set on what that sinful nature desires. But those who live according to the Spirit have their minds set on what the Spirit desires. Your mindsets are like habits, like cities within the mind. We need to strengthen the cities of grace and truth in the new part of the mind and weaken the cities of temptation in the fallen part of the mind so that we can be transformed, so that we can test and approve God's good, perfect, and pleasing will. Someone once said, all men live under the same skies, but not all men have the same horizons. So why do you think you didn't care? That's odd.
Yeah. I don't know. I had friends, and I felt like I was pleasing someone.
Yes.
It was like guys would just say, let me do this. And
Yes.
I'd say, oh yeah, sure, that's fine.
So you had a string of boyfriends or just
not
stands?
boyfriends, anything.
Yes. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
And so, yeah. So, and it was like they were being pleased from something. I was pleasing someone, and I almost didn't care about anything else because I was like, well, they're accepting me and they're pleased. I'm pleasing someone, so.
So that's got to be really messing up your brain, and unless you're just simply driven to please people and you please them and life's brilliant. True or false? Life's brilliant. You're pleasing someone, and so life's fantastic.
Yeah, it was like that. There was always something missing, though. That I'd be pleasing someone, but I'd never have a sense of completion. And I always put that down to like not having a dad around and not having a father, and it felt like that was what was missing in my.
Okay, and at some stage you became a Christian.
Yeah.
And how old were you when you became a Christian?
Well, I first had an experience with God when I was 13.
Okay.
But then I didn't live for God. I just had an experience and was like, and then I really became a Christian when I was 17.
When you were 17, you became a Christian.
Yeah.